Manchester United only 5 points off the top of the table. They're very much in the conversation, thanks in no small part to the goal scoring of Marcus Rashford. Scored more goals this season already than any other season. Since the World Cup, he's scored 16 in 17. Don, actually, you're the one who watches probably more European football than anybody.
Yeah.
I think he is the prime European striker when it comes to form at the moment, isn't
Without a doubt. I mean, Mbappe's something else off the left-hand side, but in terms of output, and a kid that's completely transformed his career in terms of where he was at 18 months ago. His confidence was low. He just thought at one point, the last place, he looked like he wanted to be was on a pitch.
Finally, you can buy English football at a very low price. Enjoy Premier League and Champions League full replay matches, as well as analysis shows from Premier League TV, BBC, BT Sports, and Sky Sports. Uncut with full footage. Enjoy weekend reviews, previews, tactical analysis, and more. Join us today at the link in the description below, www.primeshows.net.
Happens to us all, but it seemed to happen for quite a while with Marcus Rashford. Now he's got a manager that's got loads of authority. I keep going back to the chess match that he won, Ten Hag with Ronaldo. Then even on Marcus Rashford when he dropped in for a game because he was late. His performances are brilliant. He's playing with a smile on his face. He's got energy. And the biggest thing, you know, for any striker, Mark, is when you get in front of goal, you've got to make sure...
There's the ball from Fernandes.
Yeah, you know, some strikers go through on goal and you think, nah, don't fancy them. But you fancy every time Marcus Rashford goes through on goal, you think he's going to score. He's always had the pace. Intelligence has been there to make the runs, keeps himself on side, but it's the difference at the end of all of the intricate moves, the most important thing. He's got the option to square it if your confidence is low. The form that he's in, no chance.
What are you even thinking about squaring that, Tim? Is he
not in the
in?
form which Marcus is in. He's playing with a smile on his face. There was a warning just before. You play a high line at your peril against this boy. I mean, he just takes it to you. You know, he's very, very direct. Got loads of pace, great ability, as you see here. Should have done better with that finish. I think the reason he's playing high up is conserving his energy. Weghorst is doing all the donkey work really in deeper area, certainly off the ball. And when he can, he's holding it up. But there was no question when he got in here, he was going to finish. You know, he lets the goalkeeper.
And is that very deliberate from Ten Hag that he brought Weghorst in to do that?
I think so.
To maximise what he can get from
I think what he's saying to Marcus, you're the one with the quality. You're the one who's going to threaten him behind. You're going to stretch teams. They cannot squeeze the pitch. Because if they squeeze the pitch, you're going to get in behind. If Weghorst is the last man, they can stay high and still get back and catch him. What they're saying to Weghorst is, you start the press, you do all the work there. When we get the ball into you, try and hold it up. Bruno gets it, he gets his head up. Where's Marcus? And he flights balls into him. I mean, he's a perfect foil for him.
There is an incident we need to talk about with Chris Foy, our friend, the referee, at 1-0. Brendan Rodgers very unhappy about this. Hello, Chris. The challenge from Sabitzer on Feist, which Brendan Rodgers says he cannot understand why that's not a straight red card. How did you interpret what happened here?
I think it's a really interesting decision, Mark, to be honest with you. I think for certainly one thing it isn't. There's definitely a sanction there. You know, it has to be a yellow or a red card. So Stuart Atwell makes the decision. You know, he awards the free kick. It's checked by VAR. They didn't feel as though he'd made a clear and obvious error. And the on-field decision stood. I think what has saved him is the fact that he doesn't travel from distance. There's not a lot of intensity in the challenge. And he just glances him on the knee. And in my opinion, I think that's a yellow card. I don't think it's too dissimilar from the challenge we saw last week in the Crystal Palace game with Alexis McAllister.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Weghorst was the one. That's the foul. He's not giving for that. He's given the Weghorst obstruction before because he's blown before bits of tackles. It's almost like when we've played the game. So when the referee's whistle goes, you get a free shot at anyone. You know, look, you're watching me. He blows now.
Yeah. That's a red card.
Before, but that in isolation for me doesn't matter if he's blown or not. That is a straight red card. That is a bad tackle, and you can seriously hurt someone like that.
He's lucky, you know, Fass. He's lucky that his right foot is sort of semi-planted, and he's not sort of loose, because that can easily do a lot of damage, that type of tackle. I don't think it was intentional from Sabitzer to go out and hurt someone. I thought he was just very late. But I think it's how high he was. Yeah. I don't think it was
very interesting that you two think it was a red and Chris thinks it was yellow. Normally it's often the other way around.
I feel it's a strange one because I'm looking at it from Sabitzer's point of view, and I don't feel as though there was an intent from the player to hurt Wout Faes.
Yeah.
He got there late. If the tackle was quite low and you get there late, I'd be going, yellow card, he's accidental, I feel for him. It's the fact that it's actually quite above the knee. It could have done a lot of damage. When it's that high, close to the knee or above, I'm thinking that has to be a red.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. We'll catch up with Chris
Is that it?
a little bit later. A little bit later. It is for now. Good game's a quick game.
Eric, after a tough week, trip to Leeds and Barcelona, this could have been a really difficult assignment. So you must be delighted with 3-0.
First half was really tough, but first it has to do with Leicester. They play a really good game. They made it really tough for us to create great chances, but also to do with us because we were not consequent, undisciplined in our rules and principles from football and the way we want to play. And then you get hammered. And luckily, we had David de Gea, played brilliant game.
Yeah, 2 great saves. How important were they in this victory overall?
Very. Because meaning of the first goal, it's going to be really hard when you get down. We have seen it against Leeds, what happened then. But this team is resilient, I know, and determined to return in the game. But when we score the first goal, our life is much more easier than we have seen. And of course, it's also a great assist, good finish, Ressi. And then after the halftime, we were more easy. Because we follow the rules and we play brilliant and we create a lot of chances, and then you see the quality of this team.
Marcus, since the World Cup, that's 16 in 17. I mean, I'm not sure what else you can say about what he's doing at the moment, but every time he goes forward, it looks like he's going to score.
But he has to be hungry. And when he shows that hungerness, every game, his chance will coming because this team is good and this scheme will give him in the right moment the right pass. And for me today, for instance, Bruno Fernandes was brilliant. He was best player on the pitch and gives such magnificent passes, crosses, passes behind the defending line, combinations. So I was really pleased with that. So Ressi needs players like Bruno to score his goals.
I mean, are you glad to see Jadon score again, continue his comeback?
Of course, also that combination, Bruno and Jadon, works really well. They have a feeling for each other. They can make good and quick combinations. It's difficult to follow for opponents, so we have a lot of dynamics. And I'm happy for Jadon. It's the next step. I think he didn't cross his limits. When he keeps going, I think he's really in a good direction. But when he keeps improving, then it would be a really pleasure. I don't know where it will end with him.
Everybody wanted about Beckham. Well, you could feel that. He didn't score, but how important is he from a team point of view?
First off, already in what he's doing defending-wise, winning balls, backward pressing, and then second half, that was part of our game. We were much better in pressing. He's the first runner. He's doing that in a really good way. But also as a target to linking up his movements without ball. You create spaces. For instance, with the third goal was really, you can really, when you look back, you see it really clear what he's doing to get opponents away and make open a space for others where Bruno and Jadon could finish.
Finally, Eric, you've now got a fantastic selection dilemma. Everyone wants to play against Barcelona. Everyone wants to play in the cup final. That must be great for you. You've got some big choices.
Yeah, but we need such luxury decisions, problems we need. So we have to see which lineup we choose. But we need a win. We know that. Barcelona, big opponent. So we need also the bond with our fans. So Thursday, Old Trafford have to be a fortress and have to be a vibe in the stadium that we really have the feeling we are playing with 12.
Finally, you can buy English football at a very low price. Enjoy Premier League and Champions League full replay matches, as well as analysis shows from Premier League TV, BBC, BT Sports, and Sky Sports. Uncut with full footage. Enjoy weekend reviews, previews, tactical analysis, and more. Join us today at the link in the description below, www.primeshows.net.